All right, just kind of picture us sitting around your living room, kind of talking about real estate. We see that happen a lot. A lot of people like just to ask questions. And so this is going to be somewhat of a Q&A with real estate. And I'm going to be very off the cuff. I've got an outline of a few questions, and I'm just going to talk to you like we're just kind of chatting on the phone. So just kind of picture that, okay? Very loose, easy formats. All right, this is going to be probably a 3 or 4 part segment. Today is going to be segment number 1. It's going to be on general buying and market questions. So what's the most common question you think we get as real estate agents? How's the market? Had it today at lunch. A buddy of mine said, hey, how's the market? And that's such a broad question, and it can be answered so many ways. Generally, I'll just say pretty good. We're having a good year. We're very thankful. We're very blessed. So, like as far as personal goes, God is good, man. We're having a great 2025. And so and anticipating another great 2026, but that's not normally what people want to hear. So here's a little bit more of a deep dive. So what's the current housing market like right now? Now, this is going to depend on your specific area. So I am in Lakeland, Florida, Polk County, Florida, right between Tampa and Orlando. So Central Florida, the housing market right now, that the last quarter, I'm going to say, is very good. We're seeing a very somewhat of a balanced market, and I'm going to get to that more in a minute. But are prices going up or down? Prices are staying fairly neutral and maybe slightly going up. They say probably in 2026, you're going to see price appreciation 3 to 4%. So I'm trying to back down and talk about it like we're just having a conversation. I think the pricing right now is stable. If you put your home in the market and you're overpriced, you're going to be price dropping down until you get to where you should have listed the property in the first place. Sellers sometimes put their home in the market and think it's worth much more than it is. And the buyers, by looking at that and looking online and going, that house is not worth that much, they reject the price. Therefore, nobody wants to look at it. And so if you overprice your home going into the market, you're going to sit on it. That's just the way it is. But prices in general are holding very, very good. We're in Central Florida. People want to move here. So the prices are not really going up or down. They're probably slightly going up over time, which is healthy. Okay, the other question I get is it a seller's market or a buyer's market? Now, again, depending on where you're watching this, if you're up north in the central north part of the United States, I hear your market is still a crazy seller's market. Multi-offers, properties are, disappearing within days. And so awesome. We're not in that type of market right now. That's not to say if you put a property on the market, price it right, in a good location, in a good condition, it can easily still sell in a week or two, in a matter of days. I just was looking on MLS, saw a few properties like that. More of the affordable range, but we still see that. But generally speaking, seller's market, buyer's market, it's a pretty balanced market right now, with I would say probably barely favoring a buyer's market, just slightly, because inventory is sitting on the market a little bit longer. Our average days on the market between when something hits the market and when it gets a contract is about 75 to 85 days, depending on your price range. So still, 2.5 to 3 months, which is still pretty good, pretty normal actually. And so you're seeing some of that, but sellers, because homes are sitting a little bit longer on the market, are giving a little bit more incentives to buyers to purchase their home, whether it be price, paying for closing costs, being a little bit more flexible on repairs. So, so the market's good. Number 2, how much home can I afford in Central Florida? What does my budget gets me? Now, that's going to depend on what part you are looking to buy in. Generally speaking, here in Polk County, you'll get more house for your money than you will if you go to Orange County, go over to Orlando, or go to Hillsborough County, go to Tampa, this way, West is Tampa, east is Orlando. So depending on where you go in those markets, you're still going to more than likely get more bang for your buck here in Polk County. And so I'm not going to jump to finances, although I want to, as far as how much home can I afford? What does my budget get me? Our average price range here in the Lakeland area is about $350,000. Now, I will tell you this, and I mentioned this in one of my other videos, new home construction right now, you can get a nice brand new home, 1,700 square feet, in that $330 to $350 price range. Even in some cases, a little bit lower than that. but they have a CDD sometimes, which is the community development fee, which includes amenities, but it jacks your property taxes up, sometimes $4,500, $5,500, $6,000 a year, because they build in that CDD fee. So sometimes you can get the price of the home lower, $280, $290, $300, but you got to look at those property taxes, okay? Be aware of that. But you can get a nice home for $350,000 here in the Lakeland area. So number 3, one of the best neighborhoods for a family. That is going to be the strongest ones with school zones, safety, amenities, commutes. Let me say this. There are some great areas, great pockets to live in North Lakeland and South Lakeland. And I really mean that. There's Southeast Lakeland is very popular. That's where we reside, but great shopping. Southwest Lakeland, it's building up that way. Geico's over there. A lot of development over that way. People want to get to County Line Road to Tampa, run to Brandon. So a lot of growth going on that way. Some great things. Northwest Lakeland, 33810, 33809. Another growing area. Publix put a store up there over a year ago over off Kathleen Road. A lot of growth going on that way, which is nice to get up to Zephyr Hills, head up north. The Lakeland Mall is up there. A lot of shopping. Schools are very close to I-4. And then going to Northeast Lakeland has some beautiful pockets. They're beautiful treed communities, established neighborhoods, got a lot of good shopping up there too, close to I-4. So honestly, every pocket of Lakeland has some really nice places to live. It really matters. Do you have a school zone preference? Do you have I need to travel to work preference? My family is located on this side of town. I know that's the long answer, but it's the truth. And we can help suggest what really is tailor-fitting your need. So what are the best neighborhoods? That depends on what you are looking for, and we can help you find that neighborhood. Number 4, I already answered this. How long do homes typically stay on the market here? Again, it's about 75, 85 days, depending, right? Somewhere in that range. And again, it depends on your particular price range. Now, let me tell you this. I will tell you probably between the $250,000 to $500,000 price range, homes statistically are selling from January 1st, 2025 until, I'm going to call it end of October 2025, about 98% list to sell price. Pretty strong, right? 98% of what they list for, they sell for. They end up, statistically speaking, which is still pretty strong. And number 5, and then we're done for this segment, is going to be this. Are we seeing multiple offer situations often, more often than you would think, on the homes that are in more of the average price range? Not a ton, I will tell you that. This year I had not been involved in very many multiple offer situations at all. But I will tell you this, if I just look today, I look every day on the hot sheet, which is the Realtor MLS system. It shows all the new listings, the pending listings, and the sold listings, and you can get deep in the weeds on that, but I check this a couple times a day to find out what hit the market in my area, what went pending, and then I look at how many days on the market, and then we can look at what sold in a certain area, and I typically look at what type of financing that they used. There's more cash deals out there than you would expect. I will tell you that I've looked at the last couple weeks, and 30 to 40% of the deals that I'm seeing closing are cash deals. I mean, a very high amount on the spectrum for cash deals than you would think. So, but I look at days on the market, and I look at how quick some of them are selling that are pending, and I'm seeing some 4 days, 6 days. I'm seeing some 9 days. I mean, they're not even taking a couple weeks. So it's still a pretty competitive market, and that's not to say something in the $500,000 and $600,000 price range is not also getting a lot of activity or selling quick too. We still see that. So I hope this has given you a general feel for the market, just like we're hanging out, drinking a Coke Zero, sitting in your living room. All right? Our next video is going to be on financing and costs associated with homes. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, subscribe to this channel. We also have some really cool home walkthroughs on here. So shoot me a text, let me know your situation, and let's connect soon. Whether selling or buying, you got to call Brian. Have a great day.